Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time we're turning our attention to a really fascinating exoplanet, Proxima B, and trying to understand what makes it so special, especially with the James Webb Space Telescope capturing those amazing images. We're going to break down what we know so far and what these new images are telling
And
us.
what's really interesting is that Proxima B is orbiting the closest star to our sun, Proxima Centauri.
Really,
Hmm.
closest. Wow. So it is literally our next door
In
neighbor.
cosmic terms, yeah, but still pretty far. We're talking a little over 4 light years away.
Okay, so just for our listeners, remind us what a light year is.
Sure, 1 light year is about, let's see, 5.88 trillion miles.
Trillion. Trillion with a T. So it's
Right.
close, but still trillions of miles
Right.
away. Okay. Well, that's pretty amazing. But is that the only reason everyone's making a fuss about Proxima
Well,
B?
not exactly. One of the biggest reasons it's gotten so much attention is because it's located in what we call the habitable zone, or sometimes we call it the Goldilocks zone.
Okay, I've heard that term before. Habitable zone, Goldilocks zone. What does that even
So
mean?
basically, it means that Proxima b is situated at just the right distance from its star, Proxima Centauri, where the temperatures could potentially allow liquid water to exist on its surface.
Liquid
Yeah.
water. Oceans and
Yeah,
lakes?
potentially, that's right.
And why is liquid water so important?
Well, as far as we know, liquid water is essential for life, at least the kind of life we're familiar with here on Earth.
So, are we talking about aliens? Is there life on Proxima B?
Ah, that's the big question, isn't it? We'll get to that a bit later in our deep dive. First, let's talk about how we're even able to see this distant world, and that's where the James Webb Space Telescope comes in.
Right, the
Yeah.
JWST. I keep hearing about it everywhere I go, but to be honest, I'm not sure what's so special about it. Is it just a bigger, better
Yeah,
telescope?
it is bigger for sure, but it's so much more than that. It's the most powerful telescope we've ever built. One of the coolest things about it is that it observes an infrared light.
Infrared light. What's the big deal about that?
Well, infrared light can actually cut through those giant clouds of gas and dust that normally block our view. You know, those nebulas that you see pictures of?
Yeah, those are amazing. So the JWST can just see
Pretty
through those.
much, yeah. And that's essential when we're looking at objects that are super far away, like Proxima B.
Okay, so it's like having X-ray vision for space.
Kind of, yeah. And you
Wow.
know what? This capability is really changing the game because now we can observe the formation of stars and planets with a level of detail that we've never had before.
So what about those new pictures of Proxima B? Can we actually see what's on the surface? Like aliens or
Huh.
anything?
Not quite. We're still talking about a planet that's trillions of miles away. But even though we can't see like little green men waving at us, the clarity of these new images is just remarkable.
So what are we seeing then?
Well, what scientists are doing is using these images to get a really accurate measurement of Proxima B's size, and they're figuring out its composition, you know, what it's made of, and the images are even giving us clues about whether it could support life.
That's pretty incredible. It's amazing what you can learn
It
just by
really
looking
is.
at
It's
light,
like
right?
scientists are playing detective, but instead of using fingerprints, they're using light by carefully analyzing the light that comes from Proxima b. We can discover so much about its atmosphere, its temperature, even what kind of elements might be present there.
Wow. So much information
Right.
packed
It's
into
like a
light. That's
cosmic
pretty cool.
barcode.
It's amazing. And I'm sure the science behind all
It
this is
is,
super
definitely.
complicated.
It's challenging for sure, but that's also what makes it so exciting, you know? Every new discovery opens up a whole new set of questions. Every answer leads to more questions.
And that's what we're all about here on the Deep Dive. Always exploring, always learning. And speaking of questions, I think the biggest one on everyone's mind is, could there be life on Proxima B? So stick with us because we'll be diving into that very question
All right, so let's
right
tackle
after
the
the
big
break.
question. Is there life on Proxima b?
Yeah, everyone wants to know. What's the answer?
Well, hold your
Spill the tea.
horses. It's not that simple. Even though it's in that sweet spot, you know, the habitable zone, it doesn't mean it's a paradise planet. Proxima b actually has to deal with some pretty extreme conditions. Well, for one thing, it's
Extreme. Like
probably
what?
tidally locked to its star.
Tidally locked. I don't think I've heard that term
So
before. What
picture
does that
this.
even mean?
One side of the planet always faces the star, so it's in constant daylight, and the other side, well, it's always facing away, so it's always dark.
Whoa, really? So one side could be like a scorching desert and the other side like an icy
Exactly. That's
wasteland.
tidal locking. And that makes it, you know, pretty tough for life as we know it. But wait, there's more.
More. You're
And
killing
don't
me.
forget,
What
Proxima
else?
Centauri isn't like our sun, it's a red dwarf star.
Right, you mentioned that before. What's so different about red dwarf stars?
Well,
Why
red
is that
dwarf
a big
stars are
deal?
famous for their powerful flares. They release these huge bursts of energy, and that can be pretty bad news for any planets nearby.
Oh, so like a giant solar flare, but
Way
like
worse, yeah.
way
Think of it
worse.
like this. It's kind of like living next to a volcano that could erupt at any moment.
Yikes. So these flares could, like blast away
Exactly,
Proxima
they can do
B's
that.
atmosphere?
They can also bombard the surface with radiation and, yeah, even boil away any liquid water that might be there.
Oh man, that doesn't sound too good for the chances of finding
It
life
definitely makes
there,
things
does
more
it?
challenging, that's for sure. But hey, we can't completely rule it out. If life did manage to evolve on Proxima B, it would have to be, incredibly tough and adaptable.
It makes you wonder what that kind of life would even look
Now,
like. Would it
that
be
is the million
anything
dollar
like what we
question,
have
isn't
here on
it?
Earth?
That's one of the most exciting things about studying exoplanets. It forces us to think outside the box and imagine possibilities beyond what we know.
So how do we even search for life on a
Well,
planet
that's where the
so far
JWST
away?
really
What are we
shines.
looking for?
By carefully studying the light that passes through Proxima B's atmosphere, we can look for signs of what we call biosignatures.
Biosignatures. I've heard that term before. Are those
You
like
got it. Certain
chemical
gases like
clues?
oxygen or methane, or even more complex molecules, can be like little chemical fingerprints left behind by living organisms. If we find those gases in Proxima B's atmosphere, it could be a sign, a strong hint that something's alive down there.
Okay, so it's kind of like we're playing detective, but on a cosmic
Exactly. It's a
scale,
cosmic game
looking
of
for
hide
these
and
tiny
seek.
clues. So how does the
One of the
JWST
main
actually
tools is
find
something
these
called
biosignatures?
spectroscopy. Basically, the JWST takes the light that passes through Proxima B's atmosphere and splits it up into a spectrum like a rainbow.
Oh, okay,
Yep,
I get it.
exactly
Like
like
when you
that.
shine light through a
And by
prism.
looking at this spectrum, scientists can see which specific gases are present in the atmosphere, including those that might be biosignatures.
That's pretty neat, but I imagine it's
Oh, it
really hard to
definitely
actually pick out
is.
those
The signals can
biosignatures.
be super faint. It's like trying to hear someone whisper in a crowded room. So, scientists have to come up with some very clever ways to filter out the noise and isolate the signal they're looking for.
Wow, it sounds like a real challenge. Are there any other ways we might be able to find life out
For
there?
sure.
Any new
There's a lot of
technologies on
exciting
the
research
horizon?
happening right now. Scientists are developing even more powerful telescopes, and they're coming up with new techniques like polarimetry to study the light from exoplanets. Well,
Polarimetry.
it's a
I've
way
never
of
heard of that
analyzing
before.
the way
What is
light
that?
waves vibrate as they travel through space. And by studying those vibrations, we can learn even more about the composition of exoplanet atmospheres and whether they might be hiding signs of life.
That's incredible. So, even if we do find signs of life, these planets are still so far away. Is there any chance that humans could actually travel to these
Yeah,
distant
that's
worlds
a question
someday?
that a lot of people are asking. But the reality is, with our current technology, interstellar travel is still incredibly difficult. I mean, we're talking about distances that are just, well, mind blowing.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier that Proxima
Right. And a
Centauri is
light
over
year
4 light
is,
years
well, it's a
away.
really long way. Even if we could travel at the speed of light, which we can't, it would still take us over 4 years to get there.
Oh, 4 years going at the speed of light. And our current
Not even
spacecraft are
close. I mean, the
at the
fastest
speed of light.
spacecraft
And
we've
our
ever
current
launched
spacecraft
would
are
take
nowhere
tens of
near that
thousands
fast,
of
right?
years to reach Proxima Centauri.
Tens of thousands of years. Okay, so I guess that rules out a quick trip to Proxima B anytime soon. But I mean, are there any ideas out there, any futuristic technologies that could
Well, there are
maybe
some
make
really interesting
interstellar travel
concepts being
possible
tossed
someday?
around, but they're still pretty much in the realm of science fiction. One idea that gets a lot of attention is the idea of a generation ship.
A
Basically, it's a
generation ship.
giant
What's that?
spaceship, kind of like a self sustaining city in space. It would carry hundreds or even thousands of people. And the idea is that, well, multiple generations would live and die on board this ship as it travels to a distant star system.
Well, that's a pretty mind-blowing concept. So you're
Oh,
saying like people would be born, grow old, and die on this ship, and their descendants would eventually reach the destination.
exactly. It would be like a a space ark carrying humanity to a new home
That's
among the
incredible. But
stars.
I mean, I can only imagine the challenges involved in building and maintaining something like that.
Oh, absolutely. You would need to create a completely closed ecosystem, capable of producing food, recycling waste, and providing for all the needs of its inhabitants for generations. And then there are the psychological and social aspects to consider. How do you create a stable society, a culture that can thrive in a
For sure.
confined environment
So
for
besides
such
these
a long
generation
time?
ships, are
It's a
there any other
fascinating
ideas
challenge.
for how we might travel to other stars?
Well, there are some more exotic concepts out there. Some scientists are exploring the idea of using antimatter as a fuel source. Antimatter has the
Antimatter. That
potential to
sounds like something
release
straight
just
out of Star Trek.
enormous amounts of energy, way more than conventional fuels. It does, doesn't it? And then there's the idea of
Wormholes. Okay,
wormholes,
now we're
which are
getting really sci-fi.
theoretical
But
tunnels
are
through
these things even
space-time that
possible?
could
Or are
connect
they just,
distant parts
ideas
of
from
the
science
universe.
fiction?
It's hard to say for sure. I mean, these are ideas that are right at the edge of our understanding of physics. But even if they turn out to be impossible,
I
the fact
agree.
that
It's
we're
inspiring to
thinking
think about
about
all the
these things,
possibilities
that we're
out there,
dreaming
even if we're
about
not
reaching
quite
the
ready to
stars, I
travel
think
to
that
other
says a
stars just
lot
yet.
And who knows what the future
about
holds?
the
Maybe
human
one day
spirit.
interstellar travel will be as common as flying across the ocean.
I like the way you think. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? From the mysteries of Proxima B to the possibilities of interstellar travel. And for all of you listening out there, keep looking up, keep wondering, keep exploring, because the universe is full of amazing things just waiting to be discovered. And that's a
It's
wrap for
been a
this deep dive.
fantastic
See you next
journey.
time.